All right. So welcome, guys. Welcome, guys, to this class of ours today. Just allow me stop a few things on my screen just before the. Yeah. So in this class today, I would like us now to at least try to connect our front end to our back end, whereby we are going to have like a few buttons probably. Then when we have a few buttons, probably we'll just set an on-click listener. So in this class, we're going to look at how you can set a click listener, whereby when someone touches on a button, what happens? And even at times, we can also set a listener to a text view, So we can also even set a listener to an image and so on and so forth. So right away, without wasting time, let's just start a new Android Studio project. So I'm going to mute this because I'm going to start this in an empty activity. So right away, I know we've been looking at different types of layouts, but in this class, let's work with empty activity. So just click on start new Android Studio project and use an empty activity, guys. All right, so the very next thing that we are supposed to do, I just forgot to delete the test files right here, but nothing to worry because it's a one-off thing. So just right away so I can delete them. All right, so the very next thing that we are supposed to do after we've created our project, so right away, let me just go and drag and drop a few elements on our interface so that we can set listeners to them. So right away, I'm going to use a simple layout, the linear layout, without any problems, guys. So let me just so linear layout. Come on, auto suggest the thing. All right, then the orientation, let me just work with an orientation vertical. Then right away, let me just do away with this text view right here. Then we can go and drag and drop one button, one text view, and one image view. So we can just set an on-click, or we can drag and drop two buttons, two text views, and two images. So we can just set on-click listeners on them so that we can see how you can set an on-click listener. Yeah, then when we run this project, you'll see exactly how the listeners work. So right away, guys, so let me just drag and drop the text views and the buttons. So right away, we can let me just show the layout decorations. Oh, sorry, design. Show layout decorations. Then I can start with the text views. All right, so the first text view, I can drag and drop it just right there. Then this text view, I can give it maybe say an ID as maybe MTV1. So if you don't forget assigning them IDs, guys, that's the worst mistake you can ever make in coding, because this is what is going to be used in Kotlin. So if you don't assign an ID, technically you won't work with these in Kotlin. So right away, then I can say maybe this is text view 1. Yeah, I can say this text view 1. Then I can drag and drop another text view. Then right away, I can give it an ID as MTV2. Yeah, MTV2. Then I can just give it some kind of write-up or some writing and say, this is text view. This is text view 2. This is text view 2. Then I can drag and drop now a button right there. Then this button, I can give it an ID, MBTN1, MBTN1. Then the text on this button is this button 1. I can just call it maybe my button 1. I can just give it such like a thing. Yeah, my button 1. Then I can drag and drop the second one. Then right away, I can say MBTN2. Then right away, I can just say my button 2. My button 2. Then I can have 2 image views. Let me just drag and drop an image view here. Then we can work with a sample image, like say we can just work with this IC launcher thing. Then so right away, yeah, the IC launcher is right there. Then we can give this an ID as MIMG1, my image 1, for example. Then I can drag and drop another image view down there. Yeah, we can just work with this one again, no problem at all. Then I can just use MIMG2 as the ID. Sorry. MIMG2. Yeah, MIMG2 as the ID. Then right away, we can just switch to this other side, at least deal with the text views. We can give them some nice text size. Yeah, the text size, we can actually make sure that they are 30 scalable pixels. Then some margin to the bottom. Margin to the bottom of about just 10 density pixels. Then what else? Yeah, that's just quite okay. Then I can just copy these and also duplicate to this other one right here. So just to see the text appearing nicely like that. Then on the buttons, we can leave them as they are. Then on the image views, right here, you see the error or the warning, the exception that is appearing right here. I can just hold down the Alt key on my keyboard and hit enter at the same time without releasing that. Then once I do that, as you can see, there's an auto suggestion for suppress these. Yeah, I'm actually suppressing that so that it is this line of a command is added there. Yeah, just ignore this kind of exception. Alt enter, suppress that. Yeah, then right away you can just have some margin to the bottom, margin to the bottom of about 20 dp. Then also just margin, yeah, and some kind of margin to the top. Yeah, because I want it to be a little bit under that button. Margin to the bottom, to the top. Margin to the top of about just 10 density pixels. Yeah, just to have those two images separated like that. Yeah, this image and this image right there, so that it's going now to be so easier if we set the on-click listeners. So right away, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are ensuring that this activity main is working with the certain context, and its context is in the main activity. So that means whatever that is on this page or on this file can only be handled by our main activity clearly here. And when we go to our main activity, guys, as you can see, yeah, the content view is coming from activity main. So just right after here, yeah, just right after here, we can now start setting on-click listeners. In fact, I can just comment and say start setting on-click listeners. Yeah, start setting on-click listeners, so that now right away we have text views right here. So for you to set an on-click listener to an item or an element, yeah, I want us to start by first of all looking at the how things used to work in Java, and later on we will look at how Kotlin has simplified everything. Yeah, so initially, for you to connect to the front end, initially we used to ensure that we declare the kind of text views that we have. Yeah, so I can just come here and on my public class right here. Even before we start setting listeners inside here, outside here, initially we used to start by declaring text views. Like I just set a text view. Like you see right now, if I simply type their text, I need to see an auto suggestion for text view. Yeah, an auto suggestion for text view. Just a minute. view. So for us to declare that text view, so we need to start setting it as a variable in Kotlin. So var, maybe my first text view, which is of type text view. Meanwhile, let's assign it to a null. That's how to assign it to a null. So that's my first text view. Then definitely we can also have second text view. My second text view right down there. Second text view. Then we can have button, 2 buttons. My first button. I'm simply duplicating these guys. My first button. My first button. My first button, which is a button. So, okay. All right, yeah. So I think I'm repeating myself here. Yeah, first button also. Then we can have, I'm forgetting a question mark right there. Though guys, don't worry, all these bureaucracies have already been removed in Kotlin. So if you wish to work with them like this, you will, but this is not a preferable way of doing it. So second button equals to like that. Then we can also have 2 image views. My first image view, which is of type image view. Yeah, image view. Then also we can have my second image view, which is of type image view. Oh, sorry guys. Type image view. Yeah, like that. So that now once you declare them up front like these guys, once you declare them as variables right up there, so that means the very next thing that you need to do is you need to do something like even before you set the on-click listeners, you need to start by finding the view by ID so that you connect these variable here to a text view in front here. So right away, let me just even remove this on-click listener. Although we will come back to these guys because that is the best way of how to do it. I'm only trying to show you the both ways of how to do it. Then it's upon you to choose one. So we can now say my first text view equals to find view by ID. Find view by ID. Then we simply say in resources, that is our in resources, find items using an ID, and specifically there is a certain text view. There is a certain text view inside here that has got an ID called MTV1. That is the one that we are saying. MTV1. That is the one text view that we are talking about. Then my second text view. My second text view, we can also say find view by ID MTV2. So again, we can also say for the buttons, so my first button and my second button. So my first button is maybe MBTN1 because that's the one that has got that ID. Then this is MBTN2. Yeah, then we can have now for the image views, we can have the ones for the image views. So we can have the first one and the second one right down there. So we can have MIMG1 and MIMG2. Yeah, MIMG2, like that. So that, guys, at least we have now set the on-click. No, we have find the views by ID to every item that we want to click on. But remember, in Kotlin, this is initially how it used to work, even in Java. But ladies and gentlemen, trust me, all these bureaucracies have already been removed. Actually, it has been simplified in Kotlin. I only wanted to show you guys how to do this, but again, we will come back to how simply you can do it in Kotlin. Yeah, but at least just note that you can also do this. I'm showing you both ways of how to do this, so that when you meet it at some point in time, you don't get confused. So right away, so let's start by setting the on-click listeners. All right, so setting list on-click listeners now. Yes, setting on-click listeners. So right away we can start by setting the on-click listener on the my fast text view. Yeah, so we can just say my fast text view, my fast TV dot set on-click listener. Set on click. So you see, when I simply type there set on, you will see there is an on-click listener right down there. So on-click listener, and yeah, I need to have an opening and closing curly brackets like that. Yeah, on-click listener. I actually don't even need this one right there. Yeah. If let me just check out what is no, just a minute, guys. Let me check out what is happening with it. All right, so yeah, clearly, as you can see, it's giving us an exception. Reason being, we were instead of actually declaring these ones as just variable, we could do these as a let init variable. Let init means it will allow us to do modifications even right down here. So instead of declaring it like this, we can simply assign a let init at the end of it. So let init var this, let init var that, so that we do away with this. Then yeah, we can just add a let init at the beginning of it like that, so that it is going to allow us do exactly what we desire with it. Yeah, so I can just also do this, then add a let init on it. Yeah. So also let me just remove this one right here and do a let init right there. But remember, guys, all these bureaucracies have already been dealt with, so we are never going to be experiencing these in our classes. In fact, we are never going to work with it like this, the way I'm showing you here. I'm just showing you guys so that you can know. You can know. So, sorry, just like that. Yeah, so at least we've set the on-click listener here, so that we simply say my fast TV.set on-click listener. Then when you set an on-click listener, when someone is going to be touching on that text view, what do? Let's just toast a message and say my fast text view has been touched. Yeah, so we can just toast dot make text. Yeah, so then when we make text, we need a context. We can just say we can say the context is this. Yeah, this is the context. Or we can simply say yeah, this is the context. Then the message is, we can simply say my fast text view touched. Yeah, clicked. Yeah, fast text view clicked, something like that. Then we can simply say now toast dot length. Yeah, toast dot length long, maybe. Then we can simply have a dot show outside there, so that it can display on the screen, dot show. Yeah, period. At least we've set an on-click listener that has got this message, right there. So we have set an on-click listener on the first TV. So let's set another one on the second TV. So we can simply say my second TV dot set on-click listener. Yeah, set on-click listener. Then we can just also do a toast message and say my second text if you clicked. Then we can also set an on-click listener on the my first button. Yeah, dot set on-click listener. Though we are going to do a better class on how to set on-click listeners to real elements, but meanwhile, my first button clicked. Yeah. Meanwhile, let's just look at how to set on-click listeners on these different elements. So I can just say my first button clicked. Again, my second button dot set on-click listener. Then you can say my second button clicked. Yeah, then we can have my first image view. Dot set on click listener. It's now easier, guys, because it's one and the same thing. Dot set on click listener. Then we can simply say my first image view clicked. Then we can simply have and say my second image view dot set on click listener. Set on click listener. We can say my second. We can say second image view. Yeah, second image view clicked. Yeah. Yeah, second image view clicked, something like that. So guys, clearly you can see we began by declaring those elements right up there. We found view by ID by identifying each element, and we just set the on-click listener. But remember, this is a really long way of how to do that, guys. So join us in the next session or the next part of this class so that you can see how we can do it another way. Otherwise, if we run this, is going to work super pretty just like the way it is. So see you in our next session.